Welcome to Evan's Legacy Financial Podcast. You know, there's a moment when staying costs more than leaving. Most people feel and stay and keep an exit. Burning the ships isn't about courage. It's about removing retreat so that forward is the only option. These conversations aren't about outcomes. They're about decisions that make going back impossible. This is Burn the Ships. Welcome back, everyone. Evan's Legacy Financial Podcast series, Burn the Ships. I brought today a powerful message from Coach Al. Al, welcome. Thank you for coming today, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Honored to be here.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you. So, Coach Al doesn't talk about purpose. He built his life around it. Founder, coach, and school board leader. He spent years burning comfort to serve others. So this conversation explains why that commitment changes everything. So, Coach, tell me something. You don't mind if I call you Coach, right?
Absolutely. We're good. Yes.
All right. So what was happening in your life when you decided, hope and wellness weren't optional but necessary?
Man, that's a deep question. I think for me, seeing firsthand in the living room, seeing it at home, seeing that I did have the best, most loving, most hardworking family around me, and seeing how there was still this unfulfilled internal sort of um, maybe fulfillment or maybe a mission that was unaccomplished yet. So I wasn't motivated by the external, which is difficult as a young kid when everyone's, as a young kid, they show you the prize. As a teen, they show you what could be. As a young adult, they sell you the dream, and I wasn't moved by it. I think the seed of what's possible by fulfilling what you were meant to do was, I didn't understand it as that. I understood it as, I just don't know why I'm not moved. Is there something wrong with me by the external? So I just decided to move towards what I thought was cool at the time.
You
What I
followed your heart.
Well, yeah,
You
I would
followed
say
your
that.
heart.
Yeah, some people call it follow your heart. Some people call it follow your calling, faith, whatever it may be. Like there's
Yeah,
something inside where it's just like it may not even be the main thing, but do it anyway. Do it daily. Do it as many times as you can do it. If it's fitness or volunteering at the at the shelter or feeding the homeless, like whatever I believe there's a cause directly tied to your calling, and
right.
do that over anything. Do that, whatever that means for people. And I think for me was just getting people filled, filled with life.
Yeah,
Um,
we met this last weekend at an event in Monterey, and I loved what you had to say, and that's why I brought you on. And one of the things that was said there was any system works, but the key to making it work is consistency. And it's just like this, your hopes and your dreams and the things following your heart and the things like that. I have a similar story. Last year, realtor, mechanic, notary, financial services. I'm like, one of these ships is pulling me down, taking on water. I got to get out, so I decided that, I looked at this right behind me here. I looked at this thing and said, burn the boats, man. When Cortez said that to his men, I'm sure a lot of them were afraid.
yeah,
So my next question to you is, what did you have to walk away from to fully commit to serving others?
friends.
Friends. I'm hearing
Yeah,
that.
and now I respect what people talk about having people around you. I'm just gonna just quickly touch on the word friends, and I think we accumulate over time all of these people that we don't even like. If you look at nature is relevant to each other. If people are not
Ecosystem.
relevant in your life, I guess that's what you call a friend. But relevancy is mission over people. It's purpose over personal. I cannot, and that sucks. That's probably not the way I would advise people that are wanting the people around them. Like I say, purpose doesn't have a face, so I can't choose you. You choose you. I've got to, if I'm chosen to follow this mission, it might not be with you. It might not include you, or it might not have the role. Like it's like a movie, right? We all want to have the star role. And that's how I keep ego. Then ego doesn't even come into the conversation. We're not friends. We're here because you have a gift, I have a gift, and we have a mission. And when we complete that mission, if there's more missions to come, I'll see you on the next one. But it adds this level of urgency and almost this level of like appreciation and gratitude for each other in the moment versus accumulating years that I've known you,
Right.
right? Like I should not have priority because I know you longer. If there's somebody that comes into your life and can take you to
And
the
you click and you hit it and it hits hard. That's someone you're gonna,
man,
it's like this. It's like it goes right along with the motto of if there's something, if the top five people in your life aren't helping you meet your purpose, change your top five. You know, I also
that's
know that
it.
the group of friends that I have, so I'm in recovery 14 years, okay?
Yes,
And
yes.
so
Amen
one
to
of our
that.
mottos is principles before personalities.
Come
And
on.
that's exactly what you're talking about. Okay, someone might have something great to say, but if their feet don't match their words and they're not helping me fulfill my purpose, it's an onion. Okay, it's an onion. They're not my core. They're
Yes.
the outer layers of the onion. The top five are down there in the middle, you know?
Yes, I saw. I thank you for that. That's the perfect principles over personality. I'm gonna start using that because it is personality and people around you make you feel comfortable, um, and can validate even what's not good for you. Right? They can validate because nobody wants to be disliked in the friends group, and if being liked is the priority, you're in trouble. Like it's and if you don't have a mission, then stay there. Like you shouldn't go outside without a mission. You shouldn't leave the group because it's gonna hurt. It's
Right.
and for me, it was family and friends. I had to learn and I had to understand that what was being placed in me and upon me. And now, by the way, all of my immediate family, my parents, my brothers and my sisters, and some of my nephews and nieces, they're on payroll. They're on the platform, and some of them have came on the platform and now have their careers and they're living their lives. So then I have a responsibility to keep this platform as pure as possible and not based off of if I like you, not like you, because that then begins to contaminate the pressure or the purpose of the platform in the first place.
Exactly right. You said something. Being liked is not number one, and that goes into the codependency thing of. And I want to talk to parents because you talk to kids and parents. I want to talk to parents. Your kids, you love your kids. Your kids love you, but guess what? They don't have to like you all the time. When you're doing the right thing and you're teaching them to go out there and live their life like they should and not hanging on to those apron strings for the rest of their life 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. They don't, your kids aren't supposed to like you. They love you, but they don't necessarily like you all the time, and that's okay. It's just like the friends. They don't have, if you have the hard conversations and you tell the truth, that hits deeper and more meaningful to someone than anything else.
That's it.
So was there a moment when turning back would have been easier for you?
A moment where turning back would have been easier for me. No,
No.
no, man. I
You
didn't.
totally burned that ship, man. It was
No,
gone.
I no, just God didn't give me an option. I remember this exactly. I was 19 years old,
Okay.
and I moved out of home at 17. Moved from Salinas, California to Sacramento, California, and I was working at where was I at? I, I I was coming out of UPS. I was just finding I had all the plan Bs. I could be I could paint cars. I could weld. I could um, forklifts. Like I had my forklift license. I had all my plan Bs laid up, and it came to it where I have negative $37 in my account, and the 37 overdraft fee at Wells Fargo is $37, or at least at the time. And there was a Shell gas station that if you paid credit it would charge you $1 and it would give you 48 hours till the money came in and rolled in. So I was 19 years old and I'm praying. I'm 2 years into reading and praying. And I said, you know what? I have this sort of, I wrote down like I need to be speaking something in fitness, something around community, um, maybe an author, maybe read, like, I don't know, but it's something around that. And I said, you know what, God, like, let me put a pause on this. Let me go get a job so I can get some money in, and I promise you, I'll keep following this string. It's like a string that you keep pulling, this thread. Well, I've never
I
been without
like
a
that.
job since 12 years old. I've worked in the fields. I've been a cook in the kitchen. I've washed dishes. I've done a whole lot of things since 12 years old. And it was the first time in my life where I applied at over 360 jobs and didn't get one call back. I
That's a message.
I was not even allowed a plan B. I was not like I wanted like when people tell me, man, like I'm gonna burn the ships. I'm like, oh, you got to burning the ship sounds cool. Like I didn't even the boat didn't show up. I didn't get the opportunity to go that way. And trust me, I was like, man, this is salary benefits. Like, let me just do this for 2 years. I promise I'll keep going on this mission. Um, I didn't get it. What I did get called was by a boys and girls club ran by a youth pastor 60 minutes away from where I lived for $7.42 an hour, 4 hours a day. So an hour there, an hour back. The pastor told me, I don't think you need to be doing this. This is like, get yourself another job. And I said, I attempted. You're the only one that called. And here I am. Just followed the path of impact, moving, and yeah, I think people get it twisted. When you start to believe, it doesn't change right away.
Right.
You gotta stay the course.
Right. So tell me something, why start Sweat 3 instead of waiting for an invitation?
Oh my gosh. Because again, I didn't get the option. So I'm working out at the gym because I feel like one, I don't have money to be anywhere else. You pay a membership and you get to be at the gym as long as you want. They have AC, you can shower. I didn't have money to be anywhere else. So I was at the gym at 4 a.m. I was at the gym at 2 p.m. and then I was at the gym at 8 p.m. There was nothing, I didn't have genuinely nothing else to do. Everything else cost something.
Right.
I was at a gym and I would get tapped and bothered and asked questions. Are you a fighter? Are you military? Are you a trainer? Are you a police officer? Like because of the way I was training. And I would say no, but what was bothering me was I was in a state of flow and I kept getting tapped, like, excuse me, can I ask you? So much that I canceled that gym and I moved to another gym. And then I canceled that gym because it kept happening. And I moved to another gym. By the third gym, these two young women came up to me, tapped me, excuse me, can we work? Can we like work out with you? I was exhausted. I was over it. So I was like, sure, go ahead. They worked out with me. After that, they then asked, what is this? What is this workout called? And I said, I don't just sweat. You just gotta sweat. Oh my gosh, are you doing sweat tomorrow? And I couldn't lie because I was gonna be back tomorrow. So I said, yeah, I'm doing it tomorrow. Perfect. They came back. Now it's four of them. 2 weeks later, it was 10. A month later, we had about 18 people. Now the manager of the gym came up to
I
me.
was just going to ask that. The
The
manager Jim
manager
had
of
a
the gym said,
contest.
hey, I need to talk to you. We need to revoke your membership because you're disturbing the peace. You're not a trainer. And I said, oh,
Right.
damn, okay. I'm sorry. Fair enough. As I'm walking out, he said, or you could become a trainer. We'll pay you. And I said, I just was, I'm doing this for me. And he said, we won't tell you what to do. You can call it whatever you want. So I just put Just Sweat on the schedule, became a trainer, and it started there.
Wow.
So
So what?
I can't even take credit. I'm like, I don't know. I'm the kid in the back of the bus. Like
Well,
I missed the message.
when things happen, it's just like, um, it's just like prime example. When I first started my mechanic business, I was working for a shop. I decided I was going to be self-employed, and I was managing. I opened this big West Coast Tire and Auto here in Fresno, managed the shop, everything, and then we parted ways. And I came home and I tossed my little severance check and my phone on the bed, and I said, "Okay, God, now what?" And at that very moment, my phone rang.
Come on.
Right. And so I'm sitting here going, hello. And it's I don't know if you saw Javier Belize, but it was his former wife called me and says, "Hey, Jake, I got a problem with my air conditioning. Can you look at it?" And I said, "Absolutely, bring it by." And it turns out that and then my phone just kept ringing. My phone just kept ringing. So I also didn't have, the plan B was working at a shop. I didn't think I had what at that point, it was 15 years ago, so I learned something from that. Just answer the call.
Be available. Are you
Be
available?
available.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like
Be
we
available.
want this, we want this, we want to be called, but we don't want to answer when we're occupied celebrating our birthdays, having too much fun on the weekends. It's our day off. Like I don't even say the word it's my day off because I don't want to put that out.
No.
I'm available.
Yep. Yep. And it's funny because my fiance, she always, when my phone rings, she goes, "Aren't you going to get that?" She's my advocate to say, or a text message. Well, what's, and it's a lot of guys would say, well, that's jealousy. She wants to know who's talking to him. No, she goes, that could be work. It's like when I get invited to go to an event like the Monterey event, it's like, no, you need to go spend the money. It's for your business. You're investing in your business,
Come on.
So yeah, that's like that voice that I call her my voice of reason. Big
Let's
time.
go. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So,
That's beautiful.
so what, what per se ships did you have to burn or had to be burned to keep going when results weren't immediate? Or
What?
were results just immediate for you? I don't know.
No, absolutely not. And I guess the expectation of what a result is, um,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
good.
I say like getting the job isn't the opportunity. Getting called for the interview is like, my goodness, there's so many of us in the parking lot thinking we know what we're talking about. And man, gossip, talking down about people, bringing somebody's name into a conversation that the person is not there.
It's
I,
not there.
and a lot of us are like, well, I don't do that, but we partake if we listen to it and we don't put a stop to it. So I've done that with family. I've done that with my parents and my grandparents. Like, don't talk to me about somebody that's not in the room if it's negative. And I have a rule for myself. If you bring somebody's name up and I know them and it's in a positive way, I text the person and I said, hey, letting you know your name came up in a conversation and you are highly admired. Or, I do that because it's not for me, it's through me. Like,
Right. It's through you, and it's edification, and we're to edify. We're to edify those around us. That's what serving is.
that's it.
And I love that mindset. And my family, and I'm not mentioning any names, but I get a phone call that says, "Hey, what's so and so?" Or what did so and so say? I go, well, you need to ask them,
That's it.
because that really isn't. They're not here to partake in the conversation. So I'm not going to participate in a conversation about someone, like you said, who's not present.
That's it.
And that, what I think of people and people listening to that, this is very powerful, because I think that that goes a long way and wide and deep with people today, is they're having conversations about what if, should have, could have, who, and all that. When if you just stuck to what's present, if
Yes.
we stick to what's present, we're here's the thing: presents, gifts, we're gifted if we just stick to what's present.
That's it. That's it.
So how did public speaking and writing expand your mission?
Oh my goodness. Right at first I would write and I just write for the purpose of bringing it into the physical realm because an idea doesn't live in the physical realm. Um, People talk about manifestation and like it's this magical big idea, but I look at it from like if you have an idea, where does your idea live? Where is it stored right now? Where is it coming from? And everybody has different perspectives, but is your idea physical? And because it's not, when I write, I've now manifested it into the physical realm. It's now on paper and pen. It's no longer in here. And all that can happen is expanding it in the physical realm, which means you're growing it. You're doing so, you're activating everything you've got to make it real. So to me, writing is sacred because
Yes,
it's getting I say this you've got to get the pieces of the puzzle out of the box in
yes,
order to put the pieces together. So writing, it's the idea of extracting whatever's in there. It's not for a particular, you don't know the reason yet. Like a lot of the times I don't have to have an intention or a direction just to write. It almost appears to me after I wrote it. I get to I get to extract it and then I get to ingest it. So I'm having a whole experience, right? And it's speaking, I don't know how everybody else does it, but to me, speaking does not start once you get on stage. To me, speaking is the way you carry yourself throughout your
yes.
day. So if my spouse or my brother or my sister or my niece would say that's not him, or that's he doesn't ever say that, or he, whatever that may be, I can't go up there. I can speak with confidence if I practice, but I speak with conviction if I live it.
You know what? And
And
that's it.
that's
That's it
and
right
you
there. Because if you're speaking, so people tell the difference. And in my line of work, in all of my work, people tell the difference between passion, conviction, or just being confident. And like Anthony said, don't memorize it, read it until it becomes who you are.
live it. Live
Live
it.
it,
So it's off the stage work. So by the time of the stage hits, and give me 5 minutes, give me 10 minutes, give me 30 minutes, give me 45 minutes. Give me a now when it got tough was when you got invited back. Then it was like,
right?
whoa,
You got to
whoa,
come
whoa,
up with a
whoa,
whole
whoa.
new game plan.
Yeah, oh man, I can't tell the same story. Okay, and then what would it cost to bring you back 5 times? I'm like, oh, okay. So now we need some workshops. I need to slice the message. I need to actually get to the infrastructure of it all. But that happened easier because I was in the gym. I was a trainer, and I would have a message, the daily message before we started our workouts, and our reflective message for 5 years, 4 times a day, and that was my side job. That wasn't even my main job. Um, 6 days a week, and the people began to invite me to their places of work, their organization, to UC Davis. I was at UC Davis long before any of this, speaking to USC, the military. I was at the Travis Air Force, and these are all people that were my clients. They were participants in the class, so I just kept getting invited, and getting invited is the best way.
Yeah. We talked about passion and that. Somebody said something this weekend, and because a lot of my listeners weren't there, it was not maybe word for word, but it says passion appears as aggression to people who are not motivated. And I loved that line. I
I
don't know
love
if
that.
you
That's
said
cool.
it or somebody else said it, but
Yeah.
that is something that when we're passionate, I mean, I get in front of people and says, what's the matter? Why are you angry? I'm not angry. I'm passionate. This is my passion coming through. You
Yeah.
know, I'm
Yeah.
being, but then I get in front of someone a different with the same mindset. They see the passion,
Oh man.
you know,
They
and
had a clue.
therein lies our top five.
Yes.
Those who see the passion are the ones we need to surround ourselves with, because they're gonna feed that fire. They're gonna
Yes.
feed it rather than try to put it out.
Amen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you know, we I talked earlier about, you know, turning back and that, but you know, we all get into our comfort zones, right? We all have a comfort zone. So I'm sure you had them. What comfort zones did you have to leave to reach a wider impact?
Man. So I'll just give you an actual moment that was boxed in and seen as that time, because we've talked about it as a team. Um, I flew to Atlanta I paid $1,000 for a ticket to see. I've never seen speakers. I've never seen Tony Robbins. I've never seen. I saw Les Brown way back in the day, um, but I went to go see Eric Thomas and Inky Johnson in Atlanta, and it was a 3 day event. I thought it was great. Let me get in. There was about speakers, and I got in there, and I was the only person that looked like me. And I was like, okay, this is different. Let's start talking to people. Let's start connecting with people. And everybody there wanted to be a speaker.
Hmm.
I already had dates booked. That was the first. That was the first clue. Then Eric came out. Inky Johnson came out. If you guys don't know who those people are, they're incredible speakers and full of energy. By day two, I didn't make it past lunch. I think I was there for 2 hours, and my something in me was aggressively asking me to take action. So I called my team, my immediate team, my people who do my digital flyers, the media, my content, all of that. Called them on a Zoom call while I'm at the event. I'm in the parking lot, and I said, I want to apologize. I want to apologize, and it still gets me emotional because I'm still looking at this as I'm so grateful for this gig, for this speaking engagement. Now I am, but it's almost as if God was like, you look at your calendar. Like, at what point are you going to invest in it as a business? Because it's so pure to me. Like, the speaking is so pure
Right.
to the person, but the infrastructure has to begin at some point. But so here's what I learned: by putting the infrastructure, I can remain pure. By letting other people do the things that they're born to do and they do easily, or without as much effort, I can remain in word. I can remain in vision. So that moment, like just apologizing, I didn't even go back into. I had heard enough. I wasn't. I almost went there as an exercise and realized, like, all of these people want to become speakers. I've been speaking, but I still don't see it as a business because I don't speak with money in mind. I speak with purpose, right?
Service.
And it's like, yes, we understand. Like, my teams come, like, you don't have to apologize. I'm like, no, I'm holding us back. So what happened is I said, let's start. We have no outreach, no emails going out. It's just referral, pass referral, pass referral. And it's at least, by this time, it was at least 12 to 15 gigs a month. And it's just referral based, still no outreach. I looked at my calendar, and that was in January. And we kind of end the season around June, and then other things began. But I had maybe 18 dates available. And I was still not seeing it as a business. From January to June, 18 dates were not booked. I said, let's get these 18 dates booked, and let's run a little contest. I'll buy, whatever it was. they outreach. I have two people doing outreach. One of them is my sister doing outreach, and they didn't get any responses. But within 2 days, I got a call from a district that purchased 12 dates. Boom. Now I have 6 days left. I got a call a week later from another person that was like, "We've seen you before. We're looking for 10 days." And I said, "I don't have 10 days. We'll take 6." Booked out. And then
Wow.
I went to Guitar Center. I bought the speakers. I bought the headset because I don't like handheld mic. I started to invest in that space. I stopped renting vehicles and just purchased the SUV because of the team and the equipment. Like I just started moving, and it hasn't stopped since then. But I still go back to that moment because if I lived it, it's in me. So there's still times where I'm not fully justifying, the opportunity with action, with preparation. Um, so that's what it was for me is not seeing it and not doing it. I felt like I was holding everybody else back. Meanwhile, everybody else is like, "No, you're doing great. You're doing more than." I'm like, "No, I have to be honest. I apologize."
It's funny you talk about that because that's kind of where I feel like I'm at right now. I feel like, I tell these guys come into my office and go, "Man, this guy this guy that," and I'm like, and I'm always continually telling them, "I'm grateful for what you guys have done for me because you guys are my fire. You guys have done so much. I don't feel like I'm doing enough, but I get to do this now."
Yes,
I get to bring people like you on and share it with my audience that hasn't seen it before, and my audience is going to grow. I know this. That's
absolutely.
something that I know for a fact, you
Yeah,
know, and so, I love your vision, your mission. A few more questions before we get out of here, but I wanted to see, what did you learn about influence once people started listening? Because people started listening at this point. You're booked out.
yeah. Um, I learned that I learned that in your whatever your mind says, like I already said that. Let me change it up. Don't listen to that. Just give from the heart. I mean, it's becoming the person is the best part of of
Right.
of, of influence. And it doesn't happen. Influence doesn't always happen on stage. Influence happens in the hallways. Influence happens in the parking lot. Influence happens on the ride there. It happens everywhere else but stage. The stage is great because it has to sort of represent the momentum or the moment. But influence happens everywhere else.
Right.
So pay attention to who you're not taking serious or if somebody sees you in the parking lot, like yourself. I remember walking off stage and I'm drenched in sweat. And you're looking for some water, and you're like, "Hey, could I have you on my podcast?" Absolutely. It does. Like, let's just get it going. Right. That's your influence. Like, it happens in the hallways. It happens
Yep.
at the happy hour. It always happens after and before. And when people check out thinking the event's over, it just
And
got
here's
started.
something I'm going to share to piggyback on that
Let's go.
is you walking out and you're this guy that, I feel like I'm one of the, low man on the totem pole in the room. Right. And what I've learned is no matter how rich or successful or big somebody is, I need to approach them. If I have a thought in my head, like
That's
you said,
badass.
bring it in because
Yes.
hey, like I'd approach Eric Olson. I approached Paul Hart. Paul Hart and I had a great conversation. Randy Sakairos. I approached those guys, because I know that that's an important part about networking. And if I don't get a hold of you, I don't get your message and help you bring it to another audience. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Absolutely.
And this isn't about, and I'm going to talk about this. This isn't about ego and who can I get on my show and all this. It's about touching and serving the community that I have influence with. So one question for you is, how did you prevent ego from creeping in to the service-based leadership?
How do you prevent ego from creeping in?
Because
So,
it's there. I mean, we're, you
oh yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
we're
I
human.
think we're too afraid of it. We're it's understanding what it needs. So what I this is I use this exercise. I use the three box question, and it's how is my next decision selfless, meaning I get nothing, but somebody else does. So if I say, let me go on the podcast, what would be my selfless reason for being on this podcast? My selfless reason is it's about purpose, it's about identity, it's about strengths and faith. That has nothing to do with me. And it also helps Jake out in any way. Hopefully, it supports the mission that he's on. I don't get anything out of it. It's amazing, right? The next
Right.
question is, how is this good for my mission and the one I'm on? How is this good for the brand? Is it even on brand? Is it even on part of the frequency that I'm a part of? Well, yes, Jake is talking about burn the ships. He's talking about no going back, moving forward. This is absolutely all I talk about all the time. So this is on brand. So there goes 2 out of 3. The last one is selfish. Check that box. How do I selfishly benefit? Anybody that says, and I get nothing out of it, I'm like, I'm completely okay with that. But the way I check the ego is I have a conversation with it too. I said, here's where you come in because you're being inclusive with, I call it your best friends. Your best friends are your fears, your doubts, because they know you,
Oh
right?
yeah.
They show up uninvited.
Exactly.
They're like,
More,
hey,
more than you want them to.
I'm there in the front row, right? I'm backstage. Like, damn, they always show up. So the ego to me is like, okay, selfishly, do I get to grow, learn, and be in front of people at the same time? Yes. So that's 3 boxes that I get to check. So I don't ask, is this selfish? I ask, how is this selfish? I almost give that to the ego. Even if it involves no ego, I put a plate, I put a chair at the table so that ego doesn't have to fight.
Oh, I like that.
Because
I put a
I don't
chair at
need
the
you.
table.
I
I
don't
like
need
that.
you. Like you're invited, brother. I don't need you to show up and crash the party. I need you to know that there's an invitation for you if you want it. And that right there silences the ego completely. It's so
So,
interesting
you
because
know, it's funny
go ahead.
when we speak it and we expose something that's a negative part of our life, we completely remove the power from it.
Neutralize. You absolutely it gets neutralized. It's like that's all I wanted. Thank you. I'll shut up the rest of the day. And then tomorrow again. Are you gonna acknowledge? Yes, I see you. Welcome to today again.
Yep. Welcome today. I like that. I really like
And
that.
then
So,
I kick my ego's ass in the gym too. Like I leave my house not seeking comfort, not seeking to be liked. Where are you? Fear, where are you? Let's just get it. Let's get it over with. What's good? Either I'm gonna get you or you're gonna get me. And I want to meet you now before I go anywhere else on stage and be pure as possible. So if it's in the gym, let's go doubts. Let's go insecurities. If we're gonna, whatever it may be, I invite it. I say look for pain and then you'll find results. Like,
yep.
where are you? Right? Like, don't look for results, avoiding pain. Go kill that part. And then, just like hunters, they would go kill the beast and then we ate and then we were comfortable. We weren't looking to be comfortable and then be scared of the beast showing up at any random time. Go kill the thing that scares you and then you'll have everything else.
That's awesome. So tell me something. Sustaining the mission. What keeps the fire alive after nearly 2 decades?
Man, you know, I would go into one being present in the practice and the routine allows me to feel home everywhere I'm at, is
I like that.
one.
Yeah.
Two, And that's important because I think if you start to look at all these, like two ahead, and it's all these bookings or all of whatever's happening, you start to lose sort of your footing. And I've done it. It's happened where I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it where family is missing you, spouse is upset, you haven't slept, you haven't worked out, you're off your game, and you got the whole week to go. That dollar amount is not worth it. You don't even get to see it. Like I said on stage, I have a nice couch, but what you have, you don't get to experience. Who you are is who you get to experience life through. So it's like the person matters, and the why is always real for me. I can close my eyes and I can see my mother's eyes. I can see my dad's eyes. Um, I can see the people that um, I care about in my mind, and I bring that to the forefront. And I'm big on like, let's say I need to go to bed by 9, but I'm not sleepy yet. I say go to sleep because when you can't, don't complain. Like it's like a kid. Like
Right.
when you're on the road and there's 1,000 people waiting for you and you're exhausted, you're gonna remember that you had the chance to sleep. So
Right.
don't. Now I'm not gonna cuss, but don't be then if you're not gonna like
And that's
execute.
and that's protecting your own wellness.
Yes.
We have to protect our own wellness, while serving, because in order to, if we're not okay, it's just it's something about you can't share what you've got unless your own house is in order, unless
Yeah.
your own house is clean,
Yes.
and you talked about looking ahead at so much to do. We talk about runners, what they do is next light post, next light post. Next
Beautiful.
light.
Yeah.
All I have to do is make that next light post. In recovery, it's one day at a time. And my one of the guys I knew said, one day at a time, never more than a day at a time. Sometimes 10 minutes at a time, but never more than a day at a time. So
Yeah.
we take one day at a time, stay in the present, stay focused on the current mission, and then do that again tomorrow,
Amen.
every
Absolutely.
single time.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna wrap it up because I've got so many more questions for you, dude. You have no idea,
Let's
but
do
I'm
a
gonna
part
I'm
two.
gonna I'm gonna
We'll make this happen
wrap
again.
it up here. But what ships do you think today's leaders need to burn if they're serious about impact?
Control.
Ooh, I like that.
It's simple. It's not yours. I mean, ownership is about it's much more than what you have and what's yours. Nobody's going to this idea that you got to multiply yourself is BS because that it doesn't work ever. It's that person is not a clone of you because that person has its own wirings. So if you put power in people and less control on on attempting to control people, I think listen to what people want. Like what do they value? Maybe I've experienced like some of my people don't value getting to six figures or don't value getting a house right away. They might not want the car. They might not want the family right away. Maybe they want a different setup. And by listening to what they want and accepting, like, damn, like maybe I have to understand that my obsession for living and speaking in purpose, some people do want the summer off. Some people do want to celebrate their birthday. If I don't have that, it's not a misunderstanding. It's a inability to accept that other people's wants, desires comes through them, and all you can do is lead by example. So let go of control and step into power.
It's funny you say that because when I first got into real estate, I would go into houses and go, wow, I like this and I like that. And this would look good for you. And I'm thinking all this stuff in my head. And I had to step back because I wasn't selling houses.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
selling
know. I know
myself
that was
houses,
the next line. I know that
right?
was the next line.
I'm selling myself houses. So I had to learn how to listen to my clients, to my people, and find it was really hard for me because that control, I've always had it, because control was my safety net.
Oh, come on.
If I was in control, I didn't have to trust anybody.
Right. That's the
Right.
other thing. Yeah, trust. Oh my, I have more faith in people than trust in people. I'm like, oh,
Right.
that's yours, God.
So,
That's your child.
so I had to do that. And so I've learned now I listen to my clients. What do you want? Okay. So if it's not for you right now, how else can I help you? Is there something else that you need other than, and it's not sales, but is there something else that I can do for you? Is
Yeah.
there any part of your life that I can help you with, whether or not it costs money? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Find out what the person's goal is.
Right.
And then we start to, like, in training, what's the goal? I want to lose 10 pounds. Okay. Is it just that? Got it. Then let's move. But I don't like running. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, then let's go to nutrition. Yeah, but I don't want to give up. Okay. All right. Well, we have to figure this out, because if that's the real goal, then we have to find the best approach, right?
Right.
And being honest. If it's what's your motive, what's your goal? And in between that, I'll do my very best. If you want my opinion, I'll give you my opinion. But also, I found out that people want what I have, but I don't want what people have. So we have to be clear, because of course, lifestyles are attractive. Of course, people have had the dream of speaking on stage or having the podcast or having the merch or having the team. But if you really dial it down, people don't want the same things.
Right.
People, what's our idea of fun? For me, it's sitting, watching the beach, like in silence. Somebody else
Yep.
says going to a game. Like, it's what's your idea? That's almost where I start. What's your idea of fun? And then that kind of tells me a lot more about the person, and I can help you get there. And if I'm holding you back, please jump off the ship. Please jump off and go do your thing. But that's it.
Well, that's awesome. So one last question.
Yeah.
What would you tell the 2007 version of yourself before you begin? Before you began, I should say.
Mm. Go deeper.
Go deeper.
Go deeper, and let go of being under. Let go of the idea of being understood. Like, you know, I love my 2007 version. I have the business is called On a Mission Services LLC, and maybe you can relate to this, but when you're about in your teenagers, right? You're 16, 17, 18, and you want to go to a friend's house, a party, a concert. All you think about is getting there, right? You don't have the ride back. You may not have the money. You don't
Right?
you're smiling because you're not even logically, the part of getting back is not even who cares. It's about getting there.
Yeah.
That's the purpose. That's business. I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody's worried about the guarantee, the return on investment. And I was like, tap in, tap. So in '07, I'm 17. So there was this, like, I don't need all of these external motives. I just want to go. So I would say, yeah, take off. Now, you're going to make a lot of mistakes the way you're wired, but I think you're going to learn from them if God gives you enough time. And he did. God did. The other one was that quote that I said on stage was, at one point I was just attempting to outrun the past, chase the future, and missing the present. And I would just say, man, just breathe and take care of yourself. I wouldn't tell me to relax, and I wouldn't tell myself to slow down, because I wouldn't have listened.
No. No.
I said, it's like, hey, how are you going to get back from the park? It's like you're thinking about. That's all you can envision. And I appreciate that, just believer that was like, you didn't need anything. You didn't have the money to get in. You didn't have a ticket, but somehow, some way, you were like, if I just get there,
Right.
and I'll find a way in. Just get there, baby. Just get there. I'll walk back. I don't need like where you don't need much. I love that. I love that because if that's in you, you're gonna get there. You know.
Well, Al, you know what? Just get there. That's our bottom line right there. Just get there. So I want to thank you for coming on today. I want to thank you for being a part of this. And I want you to give a shout out to where people can find you.
Absolutely. Instagram is Man on a Mission. The O's are zeros. One word. Man on a Mission. O's are zeros. Same on TikTok. Facebook is Al Venegas. YouTube is called Coach Al's Huddle. Email onamission.ca@gmail.com for any bookings. Website www.onamission-ca.com for any bookings as well. And yeah, just reach out, just like you did, just like Jake did. Just take initiative. Take a chance. Take a chance.
Dude, thank you so much for coming out. And you know what? Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate you, man.
Thanks for tuning into the Evans Legacy Financial Podcast. If you got value from today's episode, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us for more real conversations that move the needle in life and business. Until next time, keep building, keep growing, and never stop chasing what matters.